welcome to the Georgia Peace Symposium. We are so excited that you have decided to tune in today to the Georgia Peace Symposium. We're right here located in Norcross, Georgia. I want to welcome a few people before we get started. First and foremost, George Franco. George Franco is formerly a news anchor for Fox 5 News, many years. And George comes by way of the West Coast. And so, George, we're so glad to be here for California. So we're so glad to have you here with us.
Thank you, John.
We also would like to, thank you, George. So we also like to, George and I are interviewing today an esteemed guest. Our esteemed guest, Judge Tracy Cason. Judge Cason is a Superior Court judge in Gwinnett County. And Judge, that's a really, really big job. You have some tremendous responsibilities. But one of the things we want to highlight today, we want to talk about the civic duties and responsibilities of all Americans. And I know we got all this unrest and people feel like, oh, I should just stay at home. But George, talk to us a little bit about the civic responsibilities as we put it right on the judge.
Well, you know, we talked about my first duty when I was a reporter was the First Amendment. I've always lived and died by that First Amendment. It says we have the freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and that part meant so much to me because it allowed people to express themselves, and thank you for being here with us. And another part, which I think you and I talked about already, is the importance of our civic duty. With those freedoms come responsibilities.
That's exactly right.
And one of those responsibilities falls on you to issue the fairest justice we can, but that relies on this judicial system and the jury. And now that goes back to you. So tell us about that and about the jury pool and what does that mean as far as, God, we're coming out of COVID, but it's not so easy.
Right. So our system only works and works at its best when the citizens are involved in that process. And in fact, it's that jury system that we have that sets us apart from every other country in the world and makes our system the best that it can be. But it can't work without jurors. And jurors are citizens. And if our citizens do not answer that call, they don't answer that summons to be a part of the process, then the process simply cannot work. And what we need to have in order for people to have confidence in our system is that they have participation in our system. But they have to come. And of course, with COVID, that has presented some difficulties. You know, hopefully we're starting to come out of COVID. It's always going to be here, but I think we're being able to manage it better. But still, with the court system, we are compelling people to come. So we have to continue to take those precautions to make sure that we're keeping people safe. And that's what we're doing in Gwinnett. We have had a couple of jury trials. We've had jurors come in, tell us that we're doing a great job of keeping people safe, of making sure that we are protecting them and keeping their safety utmost in our mind, because we have to have them. We have to have the citizens participate in our process to make sure that the system works.
George, one of the things that she just said that just made me really nervous. And the judge said summons and compelling. I've been summoned, I'm compelled. Please explain to me, what does that word summons, because I'm a listener, and compelling.
So that summons for jury duty is really an invitation that you can't RSVP no to. You have to come. Now, we do have some extraordinary circumstances. There are some excusals, and you can get in touch with the courts. But it is a summons. You are compelled and ordered by the court to come. And if you don't, then you'll be summoned again in front of a judge to explain why it is, if you were not previously excused, why it is you did not answer our lovely invitation to come participate in this process.
So let me interrupt you real quick. So is that like laying all of the business aside?
That's exactly what that is. That's exactly what that is.
Right, so that's the summons piece. How about, and the compelling, so they all kind of run?
They run together.
George?
Well, no, I was going to follow up on that because when you say compelled and summons, you are law enforcement. This is where the law of the land is followed through and we seek justice. Part of that justice, as we were talking about, involves peers, our peers, judging us, and you as the judge, your honor up there. But what's happened, you were telling me earlier, is that with COVID, we have not been able to gather all the people. So speak to us of the future of what happens next, because if we have a jury pool of 40 people in the past, and now we go to a jury pool and it's down to a dozen, what's that doing to the justice system?
So it is unfortunately taking a little bit longer to get cases through the process. Jury selection does take a longer time because with those COVID restrictions, we can only have a certain number of people in the courtroom these days. So normally you would question a group of 48 to 60, but now we're questioning a group of 12. But we still have to question a certain number in order for the litigants to be able to select their jury. Because it's not just those first 12, as I'm sure everyone knows. Jury selection involves questioning and looking into the different biases and thought process of the jurors. So you don't just pick the first 12 that come in. You have to have more than 12.
Well, I just want to kind of cut across the field. And I am so much in agreement with you, Judge Kaysen, and I honor you, Judge Kaysen, and as well as honor you to be here with us today, George Franco as our co-host. But you worked hard to get where you are. And I watched you stomp the yard and actually let the citizens of Gwinnett know that this was something that was near and dear to your heart. And like, I don't hear a lot about you in the community, but that doesn't mean you're not working. So what does your day look like? Like, it's quiet, but it's not quiet.
That's correct. Days look different on different days. 95% of the time I'm in court. So it doesn't leave a lot of other time to do things. But clearly,
So is that why I'm not seeing you at the gym anymore?
That's exactly right. Well, probably for a number of other reasons too that we just don't need to go there. But no, I mean, it takes a lot of time, and my job is commitment to the community and doing the job that they elected me to do.
That's right.
They're my bosses. They're who I serve. And I'm going to spend my time working in the courtroom and doing the job that they have chosen for me to do.
Amazing.
That doesn't mean that we're not going to take time out and get out into the community.
And I've seen you do some things in the community,
Right.
but I'm just saying.
It's critical that our community knows our judges. We shouldn't be set up on a pedestal. We shouldn't be somebody that no one knows anything about. We're members of the community that care for the community and want to know the community and want them to know us.
Well, George, I totally hear everything Judge is saying, but like, they're doing their job, they're judging, they're being a wife, they're taking care of their pets, they're doing all this. And they're doing it through COVID. Like, how do you do this, like, through COVID?
Yeah.
So video court has, of course, gone through the roof during this. I am not a huge fan of video court because you lose the personal part of justice.
Do you like that personal part?
Justice is personal. Justice should always be personal.
What do you mean by that?
You should be able to...
Before I ask you, what do you mean by that? Because my first thought when I hear Your Honor say that is justice is personal, but your job is to be impartial.
That's right, but personal being that you should have my attention. I should have your attention, and I should be able to evaluate whoever is in front of me.
Wow.
And you can't do that as accurately on a video screen.
Well, we're getting back to normal.
We are. And let me just say, though, that the video, though, has allowed us to continue on and not have a further backlog. It has enabled us to be able to still do justice.
Yes.
So.
Because I know that for work and for other things I've done, we've all done Zoom, and people are zoomed out.
Yes.
I'm zoomed out.
Yes.
So that's interesting. Are the judges, is the court system getting zoomed out?
I think not.
And does that mean a return to more normalcy that you're hoping for, but you still have these blocks in the way?
Right. I think the answer to that question depends on each judge.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of judges that embrace the video court even before the pandemic, and there are a lot of advantages to that. There are some efficiency advantages. So some judges are going to continue to move more toward video. Well, some of us, though, are going to move back towards the in-person, but still maintain the option to have video court when it suits.
Well, Judge, let me just say this. Thank you for coming down off of your, just doing your duty.
Right.
And I'm so glad and welcome to have you here. We got a few more questions we want to ask you and get an opportunity to really just take it. We're going to take a break. And thank you so much for tuning in to the Georgia Peace Symposium once again. We have Judge Tracy Kaysen, Superior Court Judge Tracy Kaysen from Gwinnett County, Georgia. God bless you. And we'll see you real soon.
OcuPrep Training Solutions is a training and staffing organization whose mission it is to prepare the next generation of entry-level allied health professionals. OcuPrep offers in-house certification programs for multiple healthcare professions. If you're looking for a fulfilling career in the eye care, ear care, dental, or dialysis professions, www.ocuprep.com to discover which opportunity is right for you.
There aren't many lawyers that can offer in their practice trilingual services in a multiple of disciplines, and that's what we offer here. I felt it was important, given the demographics of this community, to be able to service as many people as possible, because there are some people that are underserved, that are not represented, that don't have access to strong legal services for a variety of reasons. I've been a lawyer for 32 years. I've been blessed to be able to practice around the world. I'm attorney C.K. Hawthorne, and I refuse to be denied.
Body symmetry. We go on the inside and we get metabolically, hormonally, on a cellular level, and get everything optimized and balanced.
There's nobody like you on the face of the planet. So we need to treat you and tailor a program to you that is special to you.
It just gets me so excited. And so it's just, I run on passion. And I run on passion off of the fuel that I get from people's results. And it's powerful.
Welcome back to the Georgia Peace Symposium. We're so excited that you have decided to tune in. Listen, you know what? I'm just glad you're back, because there's so much more we want to share. Once again, we have our co-host today that has stepped in to help us out, Judge. Well, we have a judge, but we also have George Franco.
Call me a
George
judge anytime.
You don't want to be a judge. So, George Franco, Fox 5, formerly Fox 5 News. But we also have a Gwinnett County Superior Court Judge, Tracy Kaysen, and she has very strongly articulated her positions as it relates to how do we get through COVID and things of that nature, and how the court has moved and transitioned through such a pandemic time. And I think George and I have both articulately expressed that with her, and she's done an amazing job. I'm like, okay, so court is not shut down. She's like, no. But she's a dog.
I'm a dog.
And so I understand that they always tell me if you're going to call somebody a dog, you got to call them a big dog. So she graduated, listen, folks, from the University of Georgia, the Harvard of the South. Okay? So not only did she graduate from her mom's mom, her husband, her sisters, they all talk to us about being from the hedges of University of
That's
Georgia.
right. So I am a dog. I was born a dog. I was raised a dog. My dad went there, my sister, my cousin.
Your daddy?
My dad.
Wow.
I have his diploma on my wall.
Wow.
So he unfortunately has passed away. And we grew up going to Georgia games. We lived in Dublin, but we travel every Saturday. And that was our family
That's awesome.
thing that we did.
That's
I
awesome.
I was going to games in the womb. That's how long I've been a dog.
in the womb.
So,
From Middle Georgia to Athens. That's
that's
amazing.
right.
No, in the
and I'm
womb.
glad that you know that's Middle Georgia and
Of
not
course.
South Georgia.
No, it is Middle Georgia.
That's right.
Oh,
I've been
so
to
he
Dublin.
knows his stuff.
I have been to Dublin.
Well,
Yes.
that's not a co-host because he's like got nice hair.
Right. Well, there you go.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah. So with that being said, what did you major?
I majored in criminal justice.
Okay.
I always wanted to be a prosecutor. I wanted to prosecute crimes against women and children, and that's what I did for 21 years before being elected.
Got it.
And knew that I needed to just continue my community service and transitioned to that service on the bench.
Talked about transition, Georgia. I think she said she just transitioned. So did you just show up to Gwinnett County? How did George, you want to go
Well,
into
this
that?
is an interesting point, because varying thoughts about this. What do you think about being an elected official? Because judges in Georgia, not all places, judges are elected.
Right.
Judges are appointed in some locations. What do you think about that? And what made you say, now's my time to get into the race?
So I moved to Gwinnett, as I said, because this community was great. It was, I know a lot of people remember those silos, that Gwinnett is great and success lives here.
I miss those.
And I always say I do too, that because we are still great and we are becoming greater, but we're great because of that diversity that's coming and because of the influx of just different cultures and different thoughts. And, you know, I think every person that runs for office has to just find that personal right spot for them to do it. And I had someone approach me 6 years before and wanted me to run. And I said, it just wasn't my time. I wasn't ready. I hadn't finished some of the projects I wanted to do in the district attorney's office. I wanted to get our special victims unit back fully funded and created. And so it wasn't my time yet. And I had those points I wanted to do. I also knew I was never going to run against a sitting judge. And so one of the judges was retiring and not running again, and it was an open seat. And it was the right time.
You know what, Judge Casey, you said something just a few minutes ago. You talked about diversity, okay? And so we're living in the country now where the word diversity. But you know what? The world's not all black and it's not all white. Diversity sometimes just means a female. I have 2 daughters. I have 2 sisters. So you are diverse. Talk to us about that. Talk to us about what does it feel like to put that black robe on every morning and to be able to go out there as a female, as a woman, and to be able to hold up the justice of the America, not just Georgia, and make things right.
Well, it's a privilege every day to put on that robe. It's a privilege to do the job, not only that I love, that I'm inspired by, but that people have confidence in me to do that. So it is a privilege, and I know that every day when I do that, I'm there because the people of this community put me there.
That's important.
It is important because, as I said earlier, we are servants of the community. I will make a special note that on our bench, we have 7 female Superior Court judges out of 11. So, but that is only because...
We're halfway there.
We're over halfway there. That's only because people ahead of me, females ahead of me, and males that believed in equality laid that groundwork. And we're not completely there yet. There are obviously issues that still have to be overcome, not only with gender equality, racial equality, cultural equality. There's still some barriers. But I'm where I am as a female because others came before me and laid the groundwork.
So speak to me, John, if I may ask.
Absolutely.
About your passion for being a prosecutor. Many people enter the legal profession and they can go one or the other. One is defending the rights of clients or defendants. The other is prosecuting. Why that route? And in particular, children and women. I've been to the Gwinnett County District Attorney's Nights of Victims. It's every year. They have it every year in the atrium. Covered that story 3 or 4 times. Maybe we cross paths. But why did you decide to go that route? That is such an important distinction.
Well, I went into law because of a teacher. I had a 5th grade teacher that did a mock trial, and when I was in 5th grade, I was only a witness, but I was enamored with the process and trials. And then as I went through school, I had teachers that continue to support that dream and did more mock trials. And I'm fortunate enough to have not been a victim of the type of crimes that I prosecuted, but it was just somehow was laid upon my heart that that's what my job was to do, was to protect those that didn't have a voice, to protect those and speak up for those that maybe felt they had a smaller voice, and to make sure that they were heard. And those cases are hard to prosecute. They're hard to get convictions. But I will tell you, more often than not, the victims just wanted to be heard. And after they were able to get up in court and confront their accuser and no longer be a victim, then that was empowering to them. And I felt that I was in some way helping them to move on and to cope and to be a survivor.
George, I was looking around while Judge Casey was talking, and you left your bottle of water in the green room because I was getting choked up. Because what she was saying, it was pretty serious stuff. So now the question now becomes, talking about the victim just wanting to be heard, talk to her about what can we do. You and I'm in charge of you, George. You says, John, I'm ready to go take the world. What can we do to partner with people like Judge Kaysen to have these functions, to have these mock trials and things of that nature? How do we do that?
Well, on a personal note, one of the reasons I decided to step away from the news is because I'm a professional fundraising auctioneer. I raise money for nonprofits. One of the nonprofits, a couple of nonprofits in Gwinnett County, deal specifically with victims of violence, women and children. And as a reporter, I've seen it firsthand many, many times. I saw the bodies and I saw what was on the news. So from that point of view, for your perspective as the impartial judge up there, let's get back to the jurors and the community, because how do we assure that that justice is meted out fairly if we don't have the people there?
Let me just say this. You guys are blessing my heart. No, seriously. Because what you do is so important. And what George has said is so tied in to the solution. I want to give our audience an opportunity to digest, because I had to swallow a couple of times when you said and what you said, to be able to process my mind, to be able to get ready for this solution. No, I'm so serious. But thank you once again. We're going to come right back. So listen, we're going to come right back, guys. This is so powerful, because now we've talked to you about the situation, the circumstances. Now we're going to the solution. We've also talked to you about what you can do as a citizen. So we're going from being civil, or from being citizen to civil. So we will be right back. The Georgia Peach Symposium. See you soon.
OcuPrep Training Solutions is a training and staffing organization whose mission it is to prepare the next generation of entry-level allied health professionals. OcuPrep offers in-house certification programs for multiple healthcare professions. If you're looking for a fulfilling career in the eye care, ear care, dental, or dialysis professions, www.ocuprep.com to discover which opportunity is right for you.
Hello, my name is Daryl Pickett.
And I'm Jasmine Pickett, and we are the owners of iCode Academy, Inc. iCode Academy's 24-week training and exam preparation course teaches the student the fundamentals of medical billing and coding and prepares the student for certification.
Jasmine, that's absolutely right. Register now. Call iCode Academy at 1-866-553-2928 or visit us on the web at www.icodesacademy.org to register.
I'm Jasmine Pickett.
And I'm Daryl Pickett. Launch into your new life.
And become a certified medical billing and coding specialist today.
There aren't many lawyers that can offer in their practice trilingual services in a multiple of disciplines, and that's what we offer here. I felt it was important, given the demographics of this community, to be able to service as many people as possible, because there are some people that are underserved, that are not represented, that don't have access to strong legal services for a variety of reasons. I've been a lawyer for 32 years. I've been blessed to be able to practice around the world. I'm attorney C.K. Hoffler, and I refuse to be denied.
The environmental stresses, bad foods, lack of hydration, lack of sleep, stress throughout family. There's no way the system can maintain a normal high efficiency. So we take it and bring those levels up to a high efficiency, and now your system is running on a level that is more proficient.
They really take good care of me. They know exactly what you need.
So glad to have you back at the Georgia Peach Symposium. Listen, guys, if you guys missed this, you've missed the mark, okay? So I'm John. I am the host and the executive producer at the Georgia Peach Symposium. I have my host here with me today. I've invited a host to be with me today, George Franco. You guys know George. You've seen him on Fox 5 News. He's been from Fox 5 News to the West Coast. But listen, George and I have a guest today, and that guest is a judge. That judge is from Gwinnett County Superior Court. Her name is Tracy Kaysen. Tracy hears very serious cases. I will say from divorce and assets to murder. And so today we're not talking about solving any type of murders, or we're not talking about dividing assets of any kind of marital, divorces, but we are talking about the law. So, and the civic duty and responsibility of the law. So I think, George, we were talking during the break, and I want you to take the lead as we move forward in trying to disseminate. She talked about the defendants. The judge is even saying that the defendants have a voice. You want to talk to her about it?
Sure, and every defendant should have a voice. And I've covered many trials over the years, and what I was always fascinated by was the closing arguments of these amazing attorneys. And they will present the evidence, and some will present an emotional appeal. And sometimes when you think it's going to go one way, you can never read a jury that well. Tell us about, and once again, we keep getting back to the jurors because you really can't do your job without that jury pool. Tell us about why human psychology plays such a big role in all this.
Right. Well, that the court system is there to give a voice to everyone. That's the whole purpose. And when you bring in 12 individuals that are making the decision, they're not individuals that have necessarily been schooled in the law, and that's by design. It is a jury of our peers. It is to be representative of the community. So whenever you have 12 people coming together to try to make a decision, all of their different experiences, all of their psychological way they look at things, the way they process things is going to come into play. You have different styles of learners, different styles of thinkers. So what one closing argument may sway one person, another type may sway another. And so as lawyers, to give voices to their clients, they have to learn how to reach each of those 12 jurors that are ultimately going to make that decision. But we have to have the jurors. That's what it all comes back to. We need jurors for justice, no matter what kind of justice that is.
So, George, I think as we get ready to bring it to a close, she's wrapped it up in a nutshell. George, our job, my job, your job is to tell these people, get off of their butts, and when the jury, how does it come? In summons?
Summons.
I think she did say that. What'd you say?
Yeah.
In the mail.
Yes.
In the mail. Comes
Speak about jury scams. They're out there just shortly. We get them all the time.
Right, they are. If you're never going to get a phone call that says you didn't show up for court, you're going to have to pay $500 or $1,000. You're going
Now,
to
George, we got to come back for that, because this is the first time I've ever heard of that in my life.
Right.
She said, so you're always saying there's people out there playing games.
Oh, God,
here.
yes.
Yes.
Oh, really?
So,
Listen.
That's
but
a
for
whole
the ones,
other
that's a
segment.
whole different.
It is.
So, but for the ones that are not playing games, listen. Thank you so much. And I love oysters, but I want to make sure that I understand that before you leave, I love pearls.
Oh, you're so sweet.
God bless you. God bless you, George. We're so glad to have you all, and thank you for coming to the Georgia Peach Symposium. God bless you real good.